Hi, everybody. Let me see. Hello, Miss Giwa. How? Oh, let's see. I think I just lost the connection a little bit there. Um, can everybody hear me good on Instagram and TikTok? I just went out real quick. Okay, something's going on. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Xfinity. Mumbonly. Because I ain't going to be paying. Can everybody hear me good? Hold on 1 second, people. Let me check something real quick. Okay. All right. TikTok, Instagram. Can you guys hear me? Somebody? Anybody? Because I can see y'all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ade. Okay. Am I back on, Miss Giwa? All right. Somebody on TikTok. Can you guys hear me? Much better. Perfect. Okay. Hello, Agba. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. I don't know. We had it flashed and then went off and listen. I don't know. Today I'm in law school, so I don't know how to do tech stuff. Go figure. Hi, everyone. Hello, finest Shandy. How are you? Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. It's been, oh Lord Jesus, I've been up since 5 a.m. And I know a lot of people get up earlier than that, but y'all have to understand that I don't go to bed early. So I didn't go to bed until about 1. Okay, thank you. 1 a.m. So I'm functioning on 4 hours of sleep. So, so, um, listen, I've been cussing all day today. Yeah, I cuss a lot. I may not look it because I pray a whole lot, but I got so much man to put more pastor's wife me. I cannot be a pastor's wife. I'll cuss out the whole congregation. Yo, pastor yeke, like a bunyanti. I'll cuss out everybody. So, Emma for me, she pastor's wife. So that's one reason why I don't think I would ever date a pastor. Like, listen, don't let me mess up your whole church because nobody will come back to your church. Just actually, young ones, and then I'll go ask for forgiveness later on. What you see is what you get with me. I'm listen. I'm an open book. What you see is what you get. I don't know how to blow hot and cold. I don't have a what is going on with Xfinity? Stop. Okay. Anyway, hi everyone. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale, immigration lawyer based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that my firm handles, we can and do represent immigration clients regardless of the states you live in. So, someone on TikTok said the last, hey, King Solo, how are you? Someone said I talk pretty fast. I do. Um, I talk pretty fast. And then I've lived in the South for 16 years. So it's a combination of a whole lot of, yeah, just bear with me. But if you need to contact our office, and our number is, good evening, I'm Tolu. A number is 334-341-4475. You can text us to that number, call, text, email, contact at olalayalawfirm.com. We're on WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, YouTube. I already said that. Facebook. Okay. So please subscribe. Thank you for all those who subscribe. I think last week we had about almost 200 people subscribe last week. So I thank you. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I do not take your support for granted. But I sincerely appreciate everyone who supports. So 334-341-4475. Subscribe, share, like, follow, all of that are appreciated every single time. Okay. So, like I told you last week, we're going to do today, we're going to answer. Hello, Mr. Stanley. We are going to answer questions and see how many we can with the time that I have. Because I've got, let's see, make sure I'm not treating anybody. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I was able to send out 3 today. I, I usually have a goal. So I just hired one more person so we can get things done and get things out. Especially because last 2 weeks of the year, I usually I don't work. It's my vacation time. It's strictly for my kids. Come rain, sun, thunder, rapture. Well, rapture. Listen, God comes for anybody, so I'll go. But anything else is for those 2 boys. So I tried to get everything up. Got a lot of prima facies, approvals, notices. What's this one? I don't know. It's something about notices. So trying to get all of that done so that people can have stuff to do. So we'll see how many questions we can get answered. So it's all about questions this evening. Let's see. So here we have it. Got immigration questions? Let's get them answered. Let's get your questions answered. Let's get your questions answered. So I'm going to start 334. Say slowly. Okay. 334 341 4475. 334 341 4475. Is that slow enough? All right. Let me know if you got it. 334. If someone can help me put it up on TikTok in the comment section, I would really appreciate that. 334 341 4475. I would really appreciate that. On TikTok, on Instagram as well, but on Facebook and YouTube, y'all have it on y'all have it on the screen. So it's really at the bottom right there. Thank you very, very much. Mampi, I appreciate you. Yeah. So right, that's it on TikTok. You guys scroll through the comment section and you see it. Okay, so how's everybody's week going? How's everybody's week going? If a street lawyer no, someone said listen, I just come up with those phrases. Like it cut about what else can I say? You street lawyer law. But before we proceed, it's been on my mind since Saturday. And I'm not, believe me or not, people, I'm a very, very shy person. If my mom is here, she'll let you know. I talk for a living, but I'm I wouldn't say I'm introverted, but I'm not antisocial either. I'm kind of like in the mix. Like one day I can wake up and I just want to hang out with people and all that. That's like in a blue moon. That doesn't happen so frequently. And then there are days I'm like, okay, I've seen enough people in court. Like today was one of those days because I had court this morning. Like, okay, I've seen enough people that I need to see. And I went to my office and I literally locked the door. Locked the door and I was like, don't bother me, just leave me alone. But I'm shy. You may not believe it. So since Saturday is like God has put it upon my heart to just share a prayer and pray with others. Listen, I'm not saying in any way, but I'm a woman of faith, and I do not hide that. But I'm also God's work under construction. I would always be work in progress till the day He comes back. But I truly believe that there's nothing that we want to embark on in life that there's no preparation. And I was going to put that up this morning, but I put something else up. But I have the saying that I have in mind in my notes that there's no preparation that you can ever have that will rise to the level of prayer. There is no preparation that you can ever have. No, I'm not an immigration agent. Thank you to Simon Templar. That will rise to the level of prayer. So, and that's one thing I live my life by. And I just want to share a word with you or a prayer with everyone. I know there are people who have interviews lined up and coming up. There are people who are waiting on decisions on appeals, waiting on decisions or responses to notice of intent to deny, waiting on responses to RFEs, trying to decide is filing about case better than refiling with my spouse, even though they're not being treated right. Because you'll be surprised how many people are caught in the middle of that. But I just want to say, just a quick word of prayer, and I pray that whatever it is that you're embarking on, whatever it is that is in your heart, whatever it is that's ahead of you, I pray that you find favor. I pray that God meets you at the point of your need. I pray that he would silence all opposition on your behalf. I pray that he would control the hearts of the people, the immigration officers, the directors, whoever is going to be making a decision on your case, that God will make you find favor before each and every one of them. That I pray that even the impossible things will become possible, because he is the invisible God who does the impossible. I pray that God's mercy and his grace will go before you, that God's favor will speak on your behalf, that people will make decisions to favor you even against their own will, that he will cause your enemies to bless you even against their own will, that all that your hands touch shall prosper, that all that your heart desires he will give unto you, that he will make straight your path, that he would open doors for you that you would never even begin to comprehend or imagine, that it will be very clear that it shall be the hand of God and the hand of God alone. There's no perfection with anyone, no judgment against anybody. Everyone's got a journey, everyone's got a story. And at the end of it, that all our endeavors, a sacrifice, especially over our children. A lot of us are doing this for our children so that they can have better futures than we did. And he remains God who does things that no man ever can. He remains God that begins something and he finishes it. I'm yet to see a report of failure with God. He starts a thing and he must finish it. He says, now, an iota of his word will pass by without being accomplished. It shall not return to him void. That which God has spoken over your life, it shall become and it shall manifest, regardless of whoever it is that wants to stand in opposition to you, regardless of whoever it is that has told you that you cannot be or would not be or could not be. God speaks and no man can change. And that which you pray and you're asking him for, that you believe for, it shall be, it shall be, it shall be. In Jesus' name. There we have it. Okay, let's go. Facebook and YouTube. Hello, Mr. Jean. How are you? Perfect. So Jean says, let me put your question. So we're doing questions tonight if you're just joining us. My I-45 was administratively closed, waiting on VOD to be approved. VOD got approved in May 2022. I think you told me before. Well, congrats once again. Send a approval notice to the local USCIS office. Since then, I have not heard anything. Why was it administratively closed? That's the first question that you need to be able to answer. Why was it administratively closed? Because sometimes an I-45 could be admin closed because USCIS doesn't have jurisdiction, because at the time you filed, you were already in immigration court. Something. There's got to be a reason why it was admin closed. So what was the reason for that? Jude, my question is, can someone file for VOD with no evidence, just depend on the story? You can be out of it. Declaration is evidence, is credible evidence. If you don't have evidence, I'm not sure what you mean by no evidence. For the most part, a disclaimer, those questions, answers are not legal advice. It's not a client-attorney relationship. It doesn't create that. This is general information for anyone, not specifically your case. Just questions you guys have that I will do the best I can to answer them. Okay, so declaration is evidence. I have won cases with I wouldn't say with a declaration as detailed as River Nile. So most people do not have 90% of cases when it comes to violent cases and the abuse part is non-physical abuse. And so because of that, a lot has to do with detailed personal statement, aka a declaration, in conjunction with psychological evaluation. So it just depends on what you make of it and how detailed you make it today. Hope that helps you out, Jude. Mariana, will VAR cases will be pushed with this bill? What bill? Thank you. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm going to put it on the screen. I don't want to kill your name because people kill my name every day. 𝐸𝐿𝐫𝐚𝐥𝐸. I probably have murdered your name, and I apologize, but thank you. Shall manifest just as you've decreed. Yes. Bible says you shall decree a thing and it shall be established. The power of life and death is in the tongue. You've got to speak it, even when it doesn't seem like it, even when everything goes against. Bible says Abraham hoped against hope. I want to share something that a sermon someone sent me on that. And when you think about it, hoping against hope, that everything around you tells you otherwise, that it is impossible. It is impossible. But hoping against hope is saying, even though through my human eyes, it doesn't look like it can ever be, but because I trust him that is the in charge and owner of these eyes and the earth, he spoke the earth and heavens into existence just by his breath. So there is absolutely nothing that cannot be overturned. There's nothing that cannot be changed. I have seen cases where clients were issued RFEs and denied and appealed, and appeal was denied. And somehow, USCIS reopened the case themselves. Reopened the cases themselves with nothing filed and forgot about RFEs and approved a VAR case. I have experienced and I have witnessed that happen. I have seen cases being approved, and please do not take this like I'm saying, okay, put the divorce decree that is fake. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I've seen cases approved on divorce decrees that I know, but God came through because those people had been through hell and they became citizens, and it was because God spoke it into existence. So there is no reason why I would not keep trusting and believing and hoping against hope. There are days that I just don't even feel like working, like, oh Lord. Or some client just really, you got to deal with those clients, one or two clients once in a while, where just extremely difficult to work with. There's some people, there's nothing you can do for them that would ever satisfy them. That's just and sometimes that drains you. But then I gotta remember that it hasn't brought me this far. It hasn't put me on this journey for that person to mess up everything. There are a lot others who are going to benefit by God using me as an instrument, not because of anything that I know to do, but because I know beyond every doubt that he would use human to bless other human. Just like he uses you guys to bless me, he would use me to bless you. So you've got to keep going. You've got to keep hoping against hope, against hope, against hope, against hope, against hope. Ha! Yes. Anyway, okay. I could start a church in here. I tell you. I could start a church, but let's just leave that alone. Okay. Applying for VAWA and I have a pending asylum case. What is my best option? Leave it. Leave both. Explore all the options that you have and you're eligible for. If your asylum case, if you get called for the interview, then you can ask them to hold it. You send evidence that you filed for VAWA. You're not going to withdraw it, but you want to just hold it to see how the VAWA goes. That's going to suspend your asylum EAD, but it's better than to withdraw it. Some people withdraw and they're lucky enough to get refer to immigration court. Some people withdraw and they refer to immigration court even with a pending case. So just leave it as is, and just let your cases go. Now, disclaimer, just general information. Okay, let me go to, let's do TikTok first. Okay, loud and clear. Yeah, I think everything is back to normal now with the internet. Tell me about H-2A visa application. I don't do that. MAMP, what's the difference between K1 and K3? K1 is a fiancé visa. That means you're not married yet. K3 is, it's a spouse. It's a spousal visa that is filed if you have an I-130 that's still pending that you filed for your spouse. So it's a visa that allows that beneficiary, if they are granted, to come into the country and wait for the I-130 to be approved. For the most part, it's not faster than even the I-130 petition itself. So one is K1, you're not married. K3, you're already married and you already have a pending I-130. Do you help people move from Nigeria to the U.S.? No, we do not provide avenues to immigrate. You must have your own grants to be eligible for a green card or otherwise. Thank you. I love the hair. Everybody on TikTok, y'all are just obsessed with this hair. I get a lot of compliments on that, but I appreciate that. All my hair is almost gray. What can I do? How long does it take for you to get a work permit? Depending on your category and when you filed. So if you're still within normal processing time, then you have to wait. What I'm seeing in my firm is the C9 adjustment basis. There's a rhyme or rhythm with USCIS. So we got 4 EADs today and 7 social security numbers. Thank you, Jesus. Or social security cards. So I know 3 more EADs are coming. Out of the 4, the other 3 have been approved as well. So I got their cards before the EADs arrived. So out of all 7, 5 of those were asylum cases, and 2 were C9, and those 2 were filed. I have it here. I have the approval now. I see, but it was not earlier than April. So, but then I have cases that I filed in December that we're still waiting, and one got denied expedite request today, and it's still within normal processing time. Is Nigeria eligible for DV 2024? No. The reason being, if your country has had more than 50,000 of its citizens migrate to the United States based on the DV lottery within the last 5 years, then you do not qualify. I think the last time Nigerians were able to qualify, don't quote me on that, either 2013 or 2014. So for the last 5 years straight, it's just been, that's what it is. I just came to the U.S. recently with immediate relative 1 category. Welcome. Your hair is so pretty. Thank you. My hair's about due to be washed. This hair has been, I think I've had it 4 weeks yesterday. I braided my hair myself because I can't let nobody touch my head. I have too many headaches to go through that. Amen. Absolutely. Are you allowed to give consultation rate on TikTok? I think I do. It's 130, 30 minutes, 200, 45 minutes, 230 an hour. And we do credit that towards your legal fees if my firm is retained within 15 days. So, all right, let's see. It's question night. So I want to try to get to everyone's question as much as at least all platforms. Submitted my documents last year, September, and I haven't heard anything from them. What documents? What case? Okay. You're gonna have some trolls in here, so I'm gonna block them. Okay. How long will it take to file for my husband as a green card holder? Um, that's it just depends on what you mean by filing. Are you talking about the I-130 petition by itself? Are you talking about him applying for his immigrant visa if he's outside the country? So I-130 is averaging anywhere from 7 months to a year for USCIS to approve that, and then you now move on to the NVC phase. So depends on what it is that you're talking about. If you're talking about one of them or the whole process. Can someone travel from Nigeria to US without marriage? You can travel on a visitor visa or any other non-migrant visa. What does it mean when immigration asks for additional evidence in our case that they needed additional evidence? That's what it means. So they'll tell you what that evidence is when you get that request. Okay. Do you get deported when they do not approve your VAWA case? You don't get deported. You may be placed in deportation proceedings, but you get a chance to apply for whatever relief you may be eligible for before the immigration court. Keep in mind that there is also VAWA cancellation or removal that can only be applied for in deportation proceedings. So deportation proceedings may not always be a bad thing, because sometimes you have to be in proceedings to be eligible for a certain kind of reliefs. Example, cancellation removal, as well as VAWA cancellation and removal, as well as withholding of removal. Those are things that you can only apply for while you are in deportation proceedings. But they can't just put you in the plane. Well, there's some expedited deportation, but generally you have to deny. That's not how it goes. Okay. Can you file for an adopted child that you haven't lived with for 2 years? Depends on if you're doing the regular family-based adoption that citizens and green card holders can do, or if you're doing an orphan adoption, which only citizens can do. And in that regard, you're not required to live with a person. So for citizens, what I usually recommend for citizens in my firm is, if you qualify, if that child qualifies for the orphan adoption, it's a better deal than the 2 years that you have to live with the person, and you're in your legal custody and all that stuff. That's for citizens and green card holders, but orphan adoption is strictly for citizens, as long as the child meets the definition of an orphan. Definition of an orphan is a child who's lost both parents, a child who both parents cannot care for, or a child that has lost one parent, has only one sole surviving parent, and that parent is neglected, abandoned, or just cannot financially or physically take care of the child. That child would be classified as an orphan. And you start the process here, and you don't have to have, you can actually start the process of adoption and immigration papers without even knowing the child you want to adopt. So okay, my friend asylum and work permit has delayed more than 4 months. What do you mean asylum and work permit has delayed more than 4 months? I don't understand that question. How hard is it to get a tourist visa from Nigeria? You got to prove that you have strong ties back home. But then again, they're scheduling tourist visitor visa interviews to like 270 something. Just kidding, but it's ridiculous. As a Nigerian living in Dubai, can I apply for visa from you? You can. Okay, let's see. What does AOS, EOS, and COS mean? And I'm assuming you mean, and will it affect my status? AOS is adjustment of status. EOS is extension of stay, extension of status. COS is change of status. Basically, CBP will usually stamp that in your passport if they feel for whatever reason that they don't think that you will be returning back home, or your intentions are not, there is doubt as far as your non-immigrant intentions. They will stamp that, and it's only it's only a recommendation. So the department or the agency that has the jurisdiction over change of status, extension of status, adjustment of status is, and if you're not an immigration court, is USCIS. CBP has no control about changing your status, extending it. No, that's USCIS. So they're only making a recommendation that if something happened at the port of entry that makes them believe, okay, this person is actually coming in with the intention to not go back. And so we're recommending that because of that, don't allow them to adjust their status. But I don't, knock on wood, every single person that I've represented that has that on their passport, has their green card, or we're still pending interview, that doesn't stop you from going ahead to adjust your status. Just don't do it within the 90 days you're into the country. Can an F1 student give birth in the U.S. while they are still schooling? There's nothing wrong with you in school. So if you got pregnant, you got to give birth to the child somewhere. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think most of these questions are repetitive. So I'm totally underscore Lamy. Do you file national interest waiver for international students? Yes, I do. If you qualify. Let's see. Okay, I think most of the questions are repetitive. So, okay, let's go to Instagram. Wale Methyl, thank you for joining from Nigeria. I appreciate that. I did underscore share. What documents do you need to start the green card process if you're filing with your spouse? If you want me to tell you that, you're going to do a proper paid consultation. However, you can go on USCI's website, USCIS.gov website, each form that you're going to be filing, if you know the forms you're filing, USCIS has a courtesy checklist for all those forms. So the I-130, I-45, you have the checklist there, and you're able to see what the required initial evidence will be in for that case that you're filing. Smalley underscore popping. Do you have to be married to file a VAWA case? You're able to file a VAWA case even after a divorce. Now, let's back up. There must have been a qualified relationship in order to qualify for, no pun intended, for a VAWA case. Qualifying relationship means that you are legally married to the abuser, or even if your marriage was not legal for whatever reason, it was void, as long as it was due to the fault of the abuser. An example would be the person was already married, you did not know, they married you, and only for you to find out that he was already married or she was already married to somebody else and never got divorced, so your marriage doesn't count. But bigamy, as long as it's on the side of the abuser, that is still going to qualify. After a divorce of that, or termination of that marriage, you have 2 years from the date the judge enters a final order of divorce for you to still qualify for VAWA. If a street lawyer is handling someone's case and the client discovered he has done nothing and she decided to go to professional, but he refused to give her all the documents, what can be done? You can ask your professional lawyer to do what we call a FOIA request. So basically submit an electronic request to your CIS and they'll be to get your record that way. Can a green card holder father file for his children that has a last name different from his? He can. You may be asked to do a DNA test, but I mean, if that's the father, then he can. Generally, he can. Can someone refile? Well, absolutely. If you're still eligible, I think I have about 4 or 5 cases that were refiled. If you're still eligible for refiling, yes. Hey, Mr. Rashid, how are you? What if USCIS declares VAL as abandoned? What can somebody do next? Contact a lawyer. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Giwa. The underscore everything underscore online store. Can an unmarried woman do that? Unmarried, you mean you've been divorced from the person? Hello, Mr. Taiwo. How are you? As long as, like I just said, if the divorce is still, if the divorce is still within, if you're still within 2 years of the divorce, then that's still eligibility period. Let's see. Thank you, Mrs. Shohini. Maya Wami. Yes, go ahead and ask your question. Any help with EB2 visa? EB2 visa, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, either self-petition or employer file. So which one are you talking about? But yes, my firm handles that. Can a withdrawn application still be referenced to when a new application is filed, even though the initial filing had some error and red flags before any decision was taken? Short answer, yes. Do you need lawyer services before you get married, or that will be after you're married to your spouse and about to start your green card process? You want to consult with a lawyer. I have people who consult with me before they get married. I have those who consult after. It just depends on what it is you need to find out. Some just want to know what they need to do. And I love cases where the couple already has started building their evidence before marriage. So that really, really tells a story that your intention even started way before you got married. I'm divorced when I'm still bearing my ex name because that's what I have on all my documents. Will it affect my car process when I do start? You can indicate what name you want USCIS to put on your documents. I'm a Niger wife. Hi. And my husband is 29 years younger. You go, girl. I ain't mad at you. Will that be a big problem? Big age difference is usually a red flag. For whatever reason, I've seen that immigration raises that flag higher when it comes to the woman being older. And I think that's just sexist. Because listen, it's a new age. If I want to be someone 20 years old, no, not me, but just let nobody know. Hey, listen, you get to a certain stage in life that something's just don't work. Because I'm 44. There's absolutely nothing a 24-year-old is. Y'all men don't come for me. I'm just saying, in my life, there's absolutely nothing a 24-year-old is going to offer me at this stage. Well, besides, I digress. But as far as, but, but listen, to each their own. For whatever reason, they just feel that women that are much older, the flag is more red than men. Can you say discriminatory? But but it is not a basis for them to deny your case. So they cannot deny your case because there's nothing in the immigration law that says, oh, because the person is older, then that's a red flag. No, it's a red flag, but it's not a basis for a denial. As long as you have sufficient evidence. Amelie, VAL petitioner, my ex filed a retaliation complaint when I got a TRO against him, and I got a conviction for simple assault. Do you think I'll need a waiver? I can talk to that case. That's something you want to sit down with a lawyer to talk about and say and specifically the state you're in, what that charge classifies it under. Is it going to be classified under one-time petty offense where you wouldn't need a waiver? That's something you want to talk to a lawyer about, not just yes or no question. Which state is best to file an asylum case? I can't really say, but a lot of people were saying don't file in Chicago. I think that's, or is it don't file in Chicago? One of the two. Listen, what I say is it doesn't matter what state you file in. God is in every state. Okay, let's see. 𝐸𝐫𝒂𝒏𝒕 status change to correspondence was received, and USCIS. What do you think will be next? I'm joining my faith with you that the next thing you will hear will be they would approve your green card, and I hope you come back and testify to the glory of God. But I join my faith with you that that's what's going to happen next. 𝐸𝐵_ABM. Is it possible to receive a request from USCIS to go for biometric capture more than once? If you have that situation, how can you handle such? Is it possible? Anything is possible with USCIS. Should you go? Yes. My friend entered through the southern border and he filed for asylum and permit more than 3 months, but has delayed. What has delayed that? What's delaying it? Should you submit all your evidence at once or save some for the interview? Listen, people, good question. USCIS wants to approve more cases and waive interviews so they can approve the cases, especially when it comes to family-based. All my employment-based cases, I've only had one client have an interview. Employment cases, they hardly call you. I got 2 of those transfer. When I get transfer notices, and that's usually, so the I-140s were already approved. Got transfer notices for 2. Got RFE for I-693 for 2 other cases, employment based, and they sent us a deficiency notice. So I know that getting that RFE is indication that once we send it in, my clients will get their green cards. But when it comes to family-based cases, they are now more inclined. And more officers have actually been hired by USCIS to work remotely. That's the key. They've been hired to work remotely from their homes to review cases that are sufficient, that have sufficient evidence and are eligible for interview waivers. And that's what that group of USCIS employees are going to be doing. So the more evidence you have to submit all at once with your marriage-based case, marriage, you don't get interview for the first phase, vow petition itself. There's no interview. I'm not talking about 485 now, but marriage 751, whether it's joint filing or self-petition, the more evidence you send in, the more you increase your chances of having your interview waived. Can you study while on an H-1B? If you're going full time to school, that's a violation of, because H-1B is a work visa. Now, can you study? There's nothing wrong with you as long as you are fulfilling your status, your H-1B requirement. Can you file your green card in a different state other than the state you got married to your spouse? You have to file based on where you reside, not necessarily where you got married, but where you reside. How long does it take to get a receipt notice for our case? It's taking forever. I'll give you an example. So this is, I can tell this is prima facie. I can tell that's prima facie. Just because this is, the lady just emailed me today. I'm just still going through my mail, people. I have someone who sorts it out for me. And so they sort out the ones that we have to send to the clients and the ones we have to scan. And once you scan, I just shred it. I don't keep anything else. But let me tell you, so for instance, I know, Okay, that's primary facial. This is primary facial too. That's bio. Without opening envelopes, I can tell what they are. Okay, this is a receipt notice. This is a receipt notice. Let me open one of these, and I can tell you when I found this one. But I'm seeing that it's taking them. No, wrong one. Okay, it's taking. I found some cases. First week in September, and I know it's we got some today, so almost 4 weeks. There was another one that I found. What the heck? Those are appeal cases. There's another one that I found. I'll be damned. There's another one that I found. Hold on 1 second. In August, and I just literally got the receipt notices last week. Transfer notice. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'll give you an example of one of the ones I found earlier this month. No, last month. All right. So we found this September 2nd, 2022. This is an I-360. Their notice says notice date of September 23rd. I did not receive it until, well, I had my mail held to today. So it was delivered actually on Friday. So a week after the notice. So basically 4 weeks, I would say, is what it's taking them. If you're converting, however, I'm seeing that that's taking much longer for whatever reason. I don't know. Have you had an asylum case approved without interview? Personally, my firm, no. What is the rate of approval for waiver if I-130 sibling category has been approved, and can you handle it? What is going to be what kind of waiver are you talking about? Are you talking of unlawful presence? And who is going to be your qualifying relative? Because unlawful presence, either a parent or spouse. Who's going to be your qualifying relative? My 10-year green card renewal has been on biometric state for 9 months. What could be a delay? I do not know. Okay, Over Brown 73. So that's when I just answered you. All right, I'm gonna go back to Facebook and YouTube and just they will wrap up on that one. Okay, what did I stop? Okay. You have to be prepared. I don't know your minister too well. And listen, come on, say no. What do I need? Me. Like I love to worship. I love worship. It's when everything seems not to be going right. Get a denial on the kids that you put your heart and soul in, and you don't drink and you don't smoke. You got no other choice but to turn to God and say, you know what? I'm burning like battle. I hear it come again. That's all I know. What else? Can't drink, can't smoke. You have to turn to the only thing you know. It's gotta be. You gotta have something that is higher than you, and that's all I know. What's higher than me is worship. Just worship and say, "It's in your hands, God." I don't understand this, but I know that you're God. You're still the same God who parted the Red Sea, the same God who spoke. See, I teach my sons that there is power in words. One of the there's a church that I follow online, and one of the things the pastor said on Sunday was, have you ever thought of how powerful words are? Jesus literally spoke and raised the dead. We're not Jesus, but we're Christ-like. But just to an example of what it means when you speak and you decree. He said, Lazarus, rise up. Words, he used words, and he created and he performed a miracle. His words raised someone who was dead, like Lazarus, the cool, like 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, you know what I mean, like 4 days straight, like he was gone. And Jesus spoke and said, rise up. Words are powerful. Words are powerful. And so when all else fails, you've got to turn to him and say, I don't know it all. I don't have any power of my own, but I trust he that knows the end from the beginning. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows what's to come. He sees it all. And I'm going to trust him that sees it all, because he already knows before it even happens what's going to be the end result. But I will trust it. Carol Barrow, my work permit card did not come in the mail as they said. What to do? Contact USCIS and let them know that you have not received it. Adedamola, how long does it take to get a decision after an affirmative asylum interview? I don't know. I have a client who's I didn't represent them in the asylum case, but they've been waiting for theirs for a year now. Anthony Wilson, I-130 has been actively being reviewed since June. What exactly does that mean? It means they're working on your case, and hopefully you get a decision soon. If you're married to a U.S. citizen here in the U.S. and your kids are overseas, will it be better to file a green card application alongside with your kids in Nigeria? If you're here, why are you going back to Nigeria to file your green card application? You don't file a green card application, that you apply for immigrant visa when the I-130 has already been approved. Hi, it's too difficult to get your schedule. How can you make easy for me? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Hassan. Okay, let's see. Tamisha, do you have to be married to file a VAWA case? I think it's the same question I answered in same answer. There would have been, no, I think I paused there for TikTok. There would have been a marriage at some point. Now let me say, Zucker, how are you? Keisha, if I have a VAWA case pending, my spouse passed away, can I apply for my green card based on the deceased spouse? I had an I-130 prior to VAWA, so you still have to prove good faith anyways. Can you file a new I-130? But you can't have more than 145 pending. So if you have a 45 that you've already filed with your VAWA, that's something you want to sit down and talk with an attorney, because you have 2 years from their passing to file. So how long have you filed your VAWA case? How long have you been waiting? Do you think it's going to be a better option, or you can still go ahead and just file the widow's petition by itself without having anything, a green card application attached to it? So, but you want to talk to an attorney about your case and know what the best option for you is. Just D, I received K1 approval letter. Congratulations. Fiance has a change of address in this country. How do I update while at NVC process? When you can update that during the application process, filling the DS-260, or send them on the public inquiry form, send them that information, or when he gets his interview, that can be updated. Do you file an I-134 with documentation before my fiancé interview or after? Generally, that's one of the things that you will file, submit when you do the NVC process. Okay, let's see. I have an appointment for biometrics next week. VAWA case, what's next? Prima facie if approved. I cannot tell you what next. That's USCI's. Okay. Twin mama, how long does it take to get called for oath ceremony? Congratulations. It depends on each field office. I have some clients where as soon as we do the what's it called interview and they pass, they get sworn in, the same thing. It just depends on the field office. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you guys each and every time. Once again, if we can help you with your immigration case, contact number is 334-341-4475. Visit our website at olalayalawfirm.com. Lots and lots of thank you. That's a big heart. Lots and lots of videos. And please, please, please stay positive. Don't let anything bring you down. We all have those times when difficulty abounds. That's just the story of life. But then, take a moment, take a day, just take a day. Sometimes like, what, I can't even function. But then pray. There's nothing better than prayer. Even when you don't have the words to say, let your heart talk to God. And our story is all should end in praise. All right, everybody, have a